President Trump's agenda is so popular, why do Republicans need to add additional seats to the map?
Well, first of all, Kristen, you have to ask yourself, why have Democrats gerrymandered their states aggressively over the past 10 to 20 years? If you look, for example, at the popular vote in a lot of these states, and Massachusetts, where 32% of the residents of Massachusetts voted for Republicans, 0 Republican federal representatives. So we're not trying to all we're doing, frankly, is trying to make the situation a little bit more fair on a national scale. The Democrats have gerrymandered their states really aggressively. We think there are opportunities to push back against that, and that's really all we're doing.
Hi, Harris. A federal court belonged to the GOP map, calling it racial gerrymandering. But Texas Republicans say this has nothing to do with race. It's about partisan gerrymandering, which many states have done before. So this decision, it was made by a 3-judge panel, including Trump appointee Judge Jeffrey Brown, who voted to block the map going against the president. In the 160-page ruling, Brown said, quote, politics played a role in drawing the 2025 map, but it was much more than just politics. Substantial evidence shows that Texas racially gerrymandered the 2025 map. Earlier this year, President Trump pushed Republicans to redraw congressional maps to help them hold the House majority. Now, Texas was the first state to act on this. The left right here, that's the 2021 map. And then on the right is the new redistricting map. It was designed to help Republicans flip 5 House seats. This move sparked a nationwide redistricting battle. In August, Democrats fled the state to block the vote. And in retaliation, California also redrew its districts to help Dems win 5 seats. Governor Newsom posted on X and said, quote, Donald Trump and Greg Abbott played with fire, got burned, and democracy won. There are now questions about what the ruling means for his state. Meanwhile, Governor Abbott slammed the decision and said, quote, the legislature redrew our congressional maps to better reflect Texans' conservative voting preferences and for no other reason. Any claim that these maps are discriminatory is absurd and unsupported by testimony offered during 10 days of hearings. Texas is now going to appeal this ruling to the Supreme Court. And Harris, the timing here matters with the midterm elections and the Republican majority at stake.
A setback for Republicans' redistricting efforts in Texas. The court ordering Texas to use its old map, which was passed in 2021, which was right after the census, the normal time. And this case could ultimately end up at the Supreme Court. Can you explain to us what the judge's reasoning was for blocking this proposed congressional map change?
Hey, Kelly. Yeah, this ruling was about race. He says this is a racial gerrymander, not a partisan gerrymander, which is what Texas Republicans said they had done and defended it, saying that this was all about who was going to win and nothing to do with race. But the judge says, you targeted majority non-white districts in your redistricting. The court says if this wasn't about race, why did you mostly draw these seats in non-white areas?
And we expect that this could go to the Supreme Court. We don't know if the court would take up this case, but there is certainly a time component to this because this map would be used next year, and there are all sorts of deadlines associated with that. Do you have any sense of what the timing might be if the court were to hear it?
Yeah, the Supreme Court is almost certainly going to rule on this. Cases like this get appealed directly to the Supreme Court, and they could send a one-word ruling, affirmed, denied, or they could hear arguments. So it really depends on how they want to hear this. But I think there's a good chance they're going to hear it, and a good chance that control of Congress really could come down to this case. If this map gets thrown out, you could see other Republican states respond and say that we have to gerrymander now. Florida has been noticeably silent, as you might notice, as we talk about these issues. Other states have said we don't want to gerrymander. They could change their mind. But it all comes down to the timing and of course, what's ruled on.
And I know it's a really fun conversation, but the Democratic Party, at least, is not focused on what's going to happen 2-3 years from now. They're looking at how the map has just opened up for Democrats. So this seat, which you said was a Trump plus 22, Cook Political Report shifted it from solid R to lean R. The Republicans have had to put in hundreds of thousands of dollars in late breaking cash because they think that this could be a real race. And Democrats have overperformed in special elections by an average of 15 points all through 2025. The Marist poll from today, I get it. It's an outlier with Democrats up 14 points on the generic ballot. But even if that's 8, 9 points, that's how you say blue tsunami coming your way. And then this backfiring with the gerrymandering is a massive deal. So Donald Trump asks Greg Abbott to cheat for him. They try, they fail. A Trump-appointed judge even helped with that. So now it looks like Republicans aren't going to net any seats. Indiana's running away from this as well. And the winner, Greasy Gav, with Prop 50, it looks like Democrats could end up with just an extra 3 seats. Kevin Kiley, a vulnerable Republican in California, unleashing. So angry because he's going to lose his seat all because they tried to rig the system and then failed.
A Trump-appointed Republican judge is actually the one that found that what Texas has done is engage in racial discrimination and racial gerrymandering. Texas House Democrats broke quorum. We brought the attention of the nation to what Republicans were trying to do in the dead of night, trying to effectively pass these maps and take away 5 districts and the elected representative that the people of Texas had actually selected and get them out before the next election cycle. I am proud of what we have done, and I know that we stand on the right side of not only the Constitution, but history. We are going to find out if the United States Supreme Court has the courage to tell Trump that he can't take 5 seats before the next election simply because he's afraid of his policies and is not willing to change his policies or ideas so that the people will actually vote for him.
When we fight back, when we push back, when we all stand together, we're having real wins, right? We're having wins in the redistricting battle. We're having wins at the ballot box. We are seeing overperformances because people, and we're seeing his poll numbers plummet, right? Because people understand.
It's because of the things that he's doing and
That's
the
right.
person he is. Yeah.
And
I would posit that.
And
Because of the bills he's passed.
Yeah.
That's why people don't like it.
yeah, I would also, say it's because their costs keep going up.
Of course.
And he's pocketed $10 billion. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is why they're starting to gerrymander like this, because it's not only the moment in time. He didn't look at the 2026 elections in an isolated moment in time and say, oh, we're definitely going to lose 2026. We got a gerrymander in Texas. He looked at it the day after they passed the big, whatever it is, the big shitty
Ugly bill.
And then he looked at the day after that and said, we're not going to be able to win in 2026. We better start cheating our ass off in Texas. And also, he knew it was going to get worse. And it has been. Obviously, since that bill passed, we've seen it get worse. We've seen a shutdown. We've seen continued economic catastrophes that are all self-bludgeoning. And so I think...
I mean, who could have guessed that the largest tax cut for billionaires in U.S. history was unpopular while driving up everybody else's prices? Who could have guessed?
Not me, Tiffany.
No,
I don't know.
At this point, Republicans are completely freaking out because they know the midterms are going to be a bloodbath for them. They know that Donald Trump is dragging them down. It's their own fault, but they're well aware of the fact that their policies and their positions on everything are just dragging the whole organization into hell. In these last set of elections, when Republicans got absolutely slaughtered and Donald Trump was like,
Well, I wasn't on the ballot. That's why it happened, because whenever Donald Trump's on the ballot, everybody wins.
which of course is just not the truth. You absolutely were on the ballot, my brother. You were on the ballot because the whole Republican Party, the entire apparatus, is about you and you alone. And so everything that you do is the reason that Republicans are losing. Now, Democrats got to step it up, bare minimum. Raise the minimum wage, expand the Affordable Care Act, raise the taxes on the wealthiest among us. Little things like that. We don't even have to go all the way into universal health care. That would be ideal. That would be great. But you don't even have to do that. All you got to do is throw people a little bit of a bone, and Republicans will never win again, particularly not the presidential election after they sold their soul to Donald Trump. It's going to be really difficult for them to get across that finish line. So whoever's the Democratic president next, and it's definitely going to be a Democrat in 2028, probably Gavin Newsom, we'll see. But whoever it is, they have a very good opportunity to make the Democratic organization look at least a lot better than it has. Maybe we can finally move on from the Bill Clinton era, from the Barack Obama era. It is now time for us to actually do something. But Republicans, they know that they're going to get slaughtered, and there's really nothing they can do to stop it at this point.